Hi friends, hi America, hi the world community. Alright, so we gotta clear a drain today. The problem is I'm down in the laundry room, and the problem this homeowner is experiencing is when they run the sink upstairs and drain it, the kitchen sink, and drain it, debris comes up from the slop sink. I'll try not to make you dizzy. But debris comes up from the slop sink here in the laundry room. Okay, there's the washing machine, there's a slop sink. So what happens is all this even stuff that she just washed the dishes, like little pieces of salad and stuff like that, comes up. I just wiped it out because I like to work neat. So tracing the drain, okay, here's the drain pipe. Code on the newer houses, this has to be like a 3-inch pipe, but this is an older, and it's usually PVC on the newer houses. This is a house that was built in 1948, post-war building boom, so it's a 2-inch galvanized. Now, the kitchen sink, I believe, comes in from there. This Y goes over to the bathroom sinks, and it comes down, and the slop sink ties in. Oh my God, we're a little tight here. We got this curio cabinet here, and all right. So anyway, the slop sink trap ties in here. So we wanna. What I'm thinking is somewhere past this point, there's a clog, and when that top sink drains, it gets slow at some point past here because there's a clog. It gets slow, so it backs up through the water always sinks to the level, it backs up through into the slop sink. So what, this is a clean out plug here. See this thing? This is a clean out plug. It's threaded in here. Basically what we have to do is get that clean out plug out and run the snake through it. It could be a power snake such as this. It could be a hand snake, whatever. But this is thoroughly stuck, this clean out plug. They call this a clean out plug. You use like a big monkey wrench or whatever you want, pipe wrench. We usually use a big one like this to get it out. But with all my might, I can't budge it. So the plan is to take the Benzomatic, which I'm using MAP gas, which burns a little hotter than the regular propane. The plan is to heat this up all around this rim here, not the plug, because the idea is, as we know, heat expands things. We want to expand this pipe just, you know, like a couple of thousandths of an inch, just enough to break the rust bond that's holding this clean out plug in. So I'm going to run the Benzomatic all around here, maybe for 5 minutes. It's a big piece of metal. It's going to take a lot of heat to heat it up, but we want to heat it up to 300, 400, 500 degrees. Not cherry red, not anywhere near cherry red, but we want to get it hot enough to expand a little to relieve the stress that it has on this clean out plug. That's the plan. Let's get going on it. And don't worry, my friends. Keeping up with the excellent quality YouTube videos produced here on YouTube's Handyman Zone channel, I'm going to run to the truck and get a little supplemental lighting to make things a little easier to follow along with. So bear with me. Okay, so here's our clean out plug. And this is the bung. I think they call it bung. We're going to heat this up with the MAP. And remember, MAP is a little more hotter, well, a lot hotter than propane. So if whatever, I'm heating this up. If you just have a propane, you're gonna have to do like double. But again, I'm just heating this part, not the plug. We give it like a 10 count, and then we move 90 degrees around. We'll give it a 10 count. Come over here, give it a 10 count. Come on, top side. Now, they say the hottest part of these flames is right here. That first electric blue stops, and it turns into that darker blue. So you don't want to hold it too close, you don't want to hold it too far away, right now. And let's keep going. This is a lot of metal here we got to heat up. We want the heat to go all the way through to the Not to the plug, but right to that plug area because we want this to expand and break that bond. Three solid minutes of heat from the map. Now one more thing we're going to do is gonna whack it a couple of times with this sometimes the shock waves help, sometimes they don't do a thing. Put a pipe wrench on. 2 hands, get a good position. There it goes. Now, we've moved it a quarter turn, but sometimes trying to horse it out is not going to work. So we want to go back, and then it's kind of counterintuitive, but it actually helps clear out the threads. So every like half turn, we get it loose, we're gonna go back a little, just to make things easy. That's a super trade secret, and it works on light bulbs. Rusty bolts and screws. Ow, I just hit my head on the shut-off valve. Ooh, that hurt. Alright, at this point, it's basically free. So we can just, now remember, this is going to be hot, so you don't just want to go grabbing it at this point. Woo, it's steaming. Look at that thing. Now, this is the kind of schmutz that you're gonna be finding in these pipes. This is like all dried rust and corrosion and soap and dead skin cells and all kinds of foul stuff, but in the crummy pipe, and you can just see this, it's just loaded with crap. So let's get that snake running. Have like a $400 power snake like this. You might be able to get away with one of those handheld little snakes. Number 2, save you money. So power snake, basically you feed it out by hand and then work it in and out as it's spinning. This front thing here locks it. So if I want to feed it out, I feed it out, then lock it so that it turns with the thing. A lot of times you can feed it in by hand, but when you hit a curve or a bend in the pipe, you're going to have to lock it and power through the curve or the bend, and you may be able to go back to feeding it by hand. So let's see what we, how far we can get before we hit a bend. Okay, that's about 4 feet, so now I'm going to lock it. Using the power past that bend. I'm working it back and forth to eat up any of these clogs. Now I'm able to feed it again because we're past that bend. Let's see what we hit next. It could be a pile of grease. It's feeling like it's slowing down. Or the next bend we're going to have to power through. But anyway, let's give it some... Okay, let's feed it in some more. This has about 25 feet of cable on it. I always try to get it in as far as I can before I give up. Sometimes you gotta go 2 or 3 times because a lot of times this grease, it has the consistency of mayonnaise or peanut butter. So you'll actually poke this snake through it and whip it around and stuff. But then when you pull it out, the grease closes back around itself. It can be frustrating, but sooner or later, you put it in enough times, you will You will plow through that grease. Not too much longer to go. Okay, that's the end of the cable, see? End of the cable. So I'm going to stick it back in the machine, lock it, and get that last totally filthy and covered with greasy chunks of greasy drain crap. So I don't want to stick it right back into my machine drum. What I'm going to do is take it out and coil it up. I'm gonna make my way outside without dripping it on their floor or rug. I'm gonna find a garden hose outside and rinse it off before I stick it back in my machine. Or else the next house you go to, you're gonna be shooting little pieces of this dried grease all around where we're working here. So let's try to neatly get this thing out. Sometimes at the end of this, there'll be a big hairball or whatever was obstructing the pipe. I have a feeling this was just grease, so it'll probably just be a grease ball, or it may just be left in the pipe and we'll never see it. But I'm going to show you what has been spilling out of this pipe as soon as I can get my hands clean enough to touch the camera. But you can see it coming out there. It's basically liquefied schmutz. Alright, so here's our working end, and basically what we have is there's some kind of lint or something, not a big deal, but there is some stuff on the end here, and a lot of schmutz. So we're going to take this old shopping bag, we're going to reclaim it, and we're going to stick our snake in here so we don't drip it all through her house as we make our way to that. Okay. Bag we reclaimed, carried out. There's our snake cable. Here's our power snake. We're gonna hose this off, but we're gonna try not to get water in any of the power part. But we definitely want to get this drum. I mean, look at that. Look at that. We definitely want to get this drum cleaned off. Basically, rinse off that cable. Most of the time, but we're gonna give it a good rinsing. Here's the cable. As you can see, came pretty clean. Now, this is the business end, and this is that linty stuff I was talking about. It's still stuck in here. I always like to clean this stuff off as best I can, so that next time I use this, I can have a good clue of what came up, because I know it went in basically clean. We're gonna rinse our drum. I like to especially the drum part and your drill, because if there's any drops of water, we don't want them getting into the electrics and corroding anything, if you can understand that. So just thinking ahead a little bit of how to wrap this. Okay, and you want to kind of overlap the bottom edge so that this will actually get in there. Now there's like a big layer of schmutz right there. I'm gonna wipe that out. Okay. Now again, I got the end counterclockwise, so when I screw it in, it doesn't unwrap itself. Screw it in straight. We don't want to cross thread it. Okay, now we're gonna put the big monkey wrench on it. Oh, look at the schmutz on my wrench. Oh. No, I mean, if they were any good, they would have started their own company. A lot of this stuff's gonna soak in. There's nothing we can do about that, short of sandblasting, and that ain't my thing. So let's just take this old rag. There used to be a t-shirt that we used for 100 other things over the last couple of weeks, And this is going to be the last thing it's used for. And let's just, well, that looks a lot better. Here's our sink. I kind of half gloved up because this rag's pretty disgusting. But I'm going to clog up the drain with this rag. I'm going to run the hot water. I want to fill this sink up like halfway and then let that hot water run down that pipe. We just loosened all of that greasy crap up and flush it on down the line. Oh look, a brazier. My nose always gets stuffy when I do this sticky kind of work. Alright, I'm ready to keep going. I can pull that plug out. Look, we may even use this rag another 100 times. I just rinsed it out and it's looking pretty good. And one other thing we did for this homeowner here is on her washing machine drain that goes right into the slop sink, we put one of these lint socks on there, which are available in home centers and hardware stores. It just catches like 90% of the lint so it doesn't go down the drain, especially if you got a cesspool and stuff. I mean, this lint just forever, and after like 20-30 years it's just totally coating the inside of your cesspool. Also gets caught on rusty debris spots in your pipes and can make a clog, and it goes on with a cable tie, and that's that. Alright, so that went down.